Welcome to the video guide of the FlashyScience Reflection and Refraction of Light experiment. On the screen is a light source, a red light beam, and a cuboid sample made of glass. The straight, dashed line is the so-called normal line that's 90 degrees to the surface, and the curved, dashed line shows where the light source can be positioned. Finally, there's an illumination button. The light source can be repositioned by clicking and dragging it left or right. It's now possible to make out the various light beams more clearly: the incident beam, reflected beam, refracted beam in the sample, and transmitted beam the other side of the sample. Click on the illumination button to turn out the lab lights and see the light beams more clearly. It's still possible to adjust the light source position at this stage. A drawing icon has now appeared though. Click on this to move to a drawing of the sample and light beam positions. A protractor now appears too and allows the beam angles to be measured. The protractor can be moved by clicking and dragging on its inner region that shows angles every 10 degrees. It can also be rotated by clicking and dragging on its outer region that shows angles every 1 degree. We can now see that the various beams still appear but with slight differences than before. The incident, reflected and transmitted beams are all shown in red still. The refracted beam though is shown in blue and is extended in the drawing beyond the sample to make measurement of its angle easier. You can measure the angle of any beam by moving and rotating the protractor to align its 180 degree line to the dashed normal line and viewing the angle the beam makes on the protractor. For example, here the angle of incidence is 30 degrees. When you've finished all your measurements, click on the green and white tick icon to return to the initial screen. You can now move the light source again to change the angle of incidence before going through the process again of using the protractor on the drawing page to measure the beam angles. You can also choose a different sample from this start page. Click on the sample to show 4 possible materials: glass, ice, diamond, and sapphire. Click on the material of choice, for example diamond, and then on the sample shape you would like to use. The available sample shapes are a cuboid, as we've seen already, and a hemicylinder, which has a semicircular profile. This sample shape is useful for investigating light passing from optically dense to less dense substances and total internal reflection. I'll click on this sample shape now and then confirm my choice by clicking on the green and white tick icon. The new sample is now visible on the main screen. The light source position and angle of incidence can be varied as before, and the experiment allows the various beam angles to be measured, just as we've looked at already. The experiment has additional functionality that you can access via this icon in the top left of the screen. This opens a menu with 5 more icons. The first icon simply closes the menu again. The second icon returns you to the experiment when you're on a question screen. We'll come to those shortly. The third icon is the Click Information icon. Clicking this will select all the areas on the screen that can be clicked to control the experiment. The fourth icon opens a screen of questions directly related to the experiment you might have just performed. The final icon opens revision questions that cover the area of reflection and refraction of light more generally. All questions are marked automatically and many contain randomly generated numbers, so you can retake them as many times as you like for practice. We hope you enjoy using this FlashyScience experiment.